Welcome back, everyone. Tonight I'm going to be doing a review on the final deluxe figure in the Transformers The Last Night line, Cogman. This is a toy I've been waiting to get my hands on for a while. So as you can see, his vehicular mode is this silver Aston Martin car here. Real fancy car. It's got a lot of a metallic swirl in the plastic, which concerns me a little bit ever since, gold plastic syndrome became kind of a recognized thing. Any metallic plastic like this is a little spooky. Here's the underside of the car. Got the storage for his sword here. Little Autobot symbol on the side. Just the one side. And inside, you actually have Cogman himself driving the car. Now, for anyone that's seen the movie, Transformers The Last Night, they know that Cogman is a little human-sized transformer that acts as the caretaker, the butler for Anthony Hopkins' character. And in the movie, you only ever see him in this smaller robot form. And there it is right there. They actually really went out of their way to make him look like he does in the movie. It's got a pretty high level of, sculpting detail for a essentially Titan Master. Here's the big head. Lots of painted detail, which I'm loving. Yeah, so make no mistake, functionally this is a Titan Master, thereby making him compatible with, the entire Titans Return toy line. But in universe, he's referred to as a Headmaster. And, one time by Anthony Hopkins. And then that ability never actually gets shown in the movie for whatever reason. So yeah, very neat little Titan Master. One thing I've noticed on at least my copy is that I can't get his legs to really fold flush against the back of his head here. Kind of stay popped out. I don't know if that's a widespread issue or not. And it's not a huge deal. It's a little distracting, but not something most people are going to notice. One thing I see is that his little tab here on the back of his feet that all Titan Masters have seems to have been actually replicated in the movie because he has kind of a sort of fin on the back of his head in the movie, and I think that's where this came from. So, kind of neat. And here we have Cogman's full robot form, which is his Headmaster unit combined with the Aston Martin car. And it's just a very detailed, it's got a lot of paint detail and stuff on it, a lot of sculpting. The head looks just, completely matched up to his body. He's got a really nice medieval style sword that he wields. It's got a painted hilt here. Or actually, I take that back. The blade is painted. The hilt is just black plastic. My bad. He has full deluxe level articulation, bicep swivel, ball jointed shoulders, hinged elbow. Wrists, they don't turn left or right, but they do go up and down a little bit, but that's just from the transformation. Thigh swivel, ball joints in the hips, standard knees. They lock in place in a straight position, so to unlock them you actually have to bend his knees a little bit. So it's kind of on a ratchet, but I don't know, very tight one, so that does limit the posability a little bit because you have like 3 positions. You have like 90 degree, 45, and then straight. One thing that's neat is he has a lot of sculpted detail underneath his chest here. You can see the chest panel itself has sculpted details on the underside, and then this underneath bit has all this cool like clockwork detail. So they didn't have to go out of their way to do this, so it's pretty neat that they did. So that's the robot mode. He's the one toy in this whole line that has a Headmaster ability or Titan Master ability. Might leave you wondering, well, that's an odd choice, right? Why just the one guy? He doesn't interact with anyone? Well, actually, we're going to bring in a little Decepticon known as Nitro Zeus. And if you've seen my review on Nitro Zeus or you have the toy yourself, you're probably, already aware of what I'm getting at. The Nitro Zeus toy was designed to have his head detach, like so. And it uses the same type of connector as a Titan Master, though it is not a Titan Master itself, just a head. And it was designed this way specifically to have Cogman attach his head to the Nitro Zeus body, leading many people to believe that that was something that was supposed to happen at some, early draft of the movie, where upon getting decapitated, like he does in the finished film, Nitro Zeus's body would be taken over by Cogman. And he'd probably use it to, go and lay the smackdown on some cons. So yeah, he has the ability to do that. Kind of gives him this really eerie Terminator look. Because Cogman just kind of has like the soulless eyes and kind of gas mask looking face. Now he's got this large armament. The colors don't match up, perfectly, but they never really do when you mix and match Headmasters anyway, so that's neither here nor there. But it does add a lot of play value to a line that doesn't really go out of its way to have play value. They're, for the most part, just simple toys, no gimmicks or anything, aside from maybe the Infernicus combiner. But I am really happy that they did include this. The incoming Thundercracker figure that is exclusive to Toys R Us is a Nitro Zeus retool, so he'll also have this compatibility with Cogman. So feel free to mix and match and, have fun with that. So that's all there really is to see for Cogman. If you live in the US, chances are you probably have not seen this figure yet. He hasn't really made his way to distribution yet. I mean, heck, the wave before him has barely made its way here to the US. Kind of leads me to think he may actually get skipped for us, kind of in the same vein as like the final waves of Transformers Prime, which actually drove me to buy this toy from a third-party seller online and drop $35 for it, which is something I've never done before. I'm very much against paying money to scalpers and giving them money for something that I could have just bought myself for retail. But I do have a very strong suspicion that this guy will be next to impossible to find here in the States, so I kind of caved on him. And even though I regret how much I paid for it, I am happy that I got it, because this is, I've already decided, my favorite toy out of the Last Night toy line. I mean, even more so than like the Leader class and Voyager classes. He's simple but brilliant. There's so much detail. I love the clockwork motif that he has. Shows that he's a very old Transformer. Kind of reminds me of like Vector Prime, who had similar clockwork detailing. He just comes off, he's like what a British knight would look like if they were a robot. When you toss in the fact that he's got the Titan Master compatibility, the ability to combine with Nitro Zeus's body, he's just a great package. Especially when you compare him to the rest of the Last Night toy line, which has been very hit or miss. You're either dealing with just redecos of Age of Extinction toys, which were generally pretty garbage, or some decent new molds, which, while a huge step up, weren't anything groundbreaking. Yeah. It's a shame that this guy is so hard to find, and a shame that he's going to be the only new toy in his respective Deluxe wave, which will make him even harder to get a hold of and drive prices up that much more. But if you can manage to find one, you'll be really happy that you got him. If anyone watching does have one of these, love it if you let me know whether or not his Titan Master legs actually sit flush against the back of his head. I'd like to know if that's just a one-off issue or not. But yeah, that's all I have to say for this guy. He's all I could ask for a movie-verse toy. And I'm hoping that now that he's kind of set this high bar for Deluxes in movie lines, we can kind of see some improvement as we get into possible future waves for like the studio series, which has been so far kind of underwhelming. But anyway, let me know what you think of this, what you thought of the review. Do you think that $35 was worth it to get a toy that's this rare and this good, or did I totally waste my money there? Either way, I'd love to hear from you guys. So without anything further to add, I'm going to cut it off, and I'll see you next time.